Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Now, today we're back with another Throne of Liberty, another beginner's guide for you guys and girls out there who are just jumping into this beautiful MMORPG, because we are now, literally, we're a couple days away from the global release. So yeah, no matter when you're watching this, if you're watching this on the day of release or a day after or a week after, whatever, this video will help you. Now, today's subject, we're going to be talking about stats. I wanted to do a stats for beginners video because I am seeing a lot of people in the comment section, on streams, in Reddit and stuff like that, asking the question about stats. What stats should I use? What do the stats do? And all those types of questions. So I'm going to cover that for you today. I'm going to keep it as short as possible, but obviously give you the information that you need to know. So yeah, before we get into that, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And yeah, let's jump into the video. Right, so here we are. We are now on the stats page. So you can see here, we have strength, we have dexterity, wisdom and perception. Now, I'm going to explain to you guys and girls, what I would recommend that you should be doing when you start leveling, the stats breakdown that you should have. And then I'll show you what each stats are for. Because obviously, normally in MMORPGs, you would think of like constitution, intelligence and stuff like, dexterity and stuff like that. And you would correlate, obviously, strength normally with, like melee attacks and, stuff like weapons to do, like say for example, like a great sword. And you would obviously correlate intelligence for for magic weapons only, and things like that. So in Throne of Liberty, it is slightly different, but it's still it's very basic. And there is certain stats that you do want to run more than others in whether you're doing PvE or PvP. So currently you can see this is my PvE set basically, and you can see obviously I have strength, dexterity as my two highest, and then wisdom and perception are currently my lowest. Now for strength, what does strength do? So you can see here, strength serves as the source of physical prowess. It provides a strong defense in addition to increasing max health, health regen, max damage, and also minimum damage. So you also have these set bonus points. So if you get your strength to 30, your max health increases by 750. If you go up to 40, you get a damage reduction of 15. You go to 50, you get a heavy attack chance of 100. 60 gives you 900 max health. 70 gives you 450 more max health, and also 200 melee defense, and then another 200 range defense. So you might be like asking yourself, so why would I want strength? Like for example, I am a bow staff, and I've got 56 strength. So you might say to yourself, why do you have 56 strength? The reason for that is I wanted to get to 50 to get the extra heavy attack chance, and of course the extra health. You're going to need extra health. There's nothing wrong with having extra health. The more health you have, the better, right? So that's my main reason why I am going to strength 50 strength is for the heavy attack chance. But the main reason that you're going to use strength is what I've basically said about is you want to get health. So that is what strength is for, mostly for health and for obviously defense. So dexterity next is a source of nimbleness. It increases quickness and critical attacks, in addition to evasion and your maximum damage. And again, 30 is for 100 crit, 40 is for bonus damage of 15, 50 is to give you more movement speed by 5%, 60 gives us a critical hit of 120, 70 gives us another 60 critical hit, and then another 120 evasion. So again, dexterity is basically your main damage stat. So when you're leveling, what you want to be doing is you want to be building up your dexterity. What I recommend is you put 20 points. You basically, when you first start the game, you're going to have 10 base points for all stats. So you're going to want to be putting in 20 points of dexterity. So that will take you to 30. And the reason why you want to stop at 30 is because when you get to 30, it's then going to ask you here, it's going to take 2 stat points to go up, basically 1. So you don't want to waste 2 stat points to go up. So then once you do that, once you get to 30, you're going to want to then input your points into wisdom. So this is for your leveling process. And the reason for that is what I'm about to tell you now. So the wisdom is the mental prowess. It increases your max mana and your mana regen. And it also gives you cooldown reduction and max damage. So for 30, you're going to get max mana of 750. 40, we're going to get a debuff duration of -5%. 50 gives us a cooldown speed of 5%. 60 gives us a 900 of more of max mana. Then if you hit 70, you're going to get another 450 of max mana and also 120 regen. Now, when you're leveling, your mana consumption is normally a big problem, or like across the board on all different types of builds. So it doesn't matter what build you are, leveling, you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna want to do your dexterity for your damage, and you get obviously critical hit and evasion. And then you're going to want to bump up your wisdom next because you're going to need mana. But not only is you're going to get obviously mana and mana regen, you do also get more damage because, as you can see, like I said, it increases your maximum damage. And again, you're going to get that to 30. And then once you've got that to 30, you're going to want to put the rest of the points into strength to obviously bump up your health. Now, you're going to you're gonna wonder like, well, okay, how do I surpass the the 2 stat points, and the bottleneck of the 2 stat points? So what happens is, as you get further into the game, you're going to get items. For example, like this item here gives me 10 dexterity, so that's a flat out just 10 dex. If I take off this staff, my dexterity will drop down from 66 to 56. And then again, you look at this bow here, it gives me 10 strength and 10 perception. And then it's the same for, so obviously this is tier 2, so ignore the type of items that it is, because you're not going to have this on global launch. This is the Korean version, but just look at the stats. So certain items gives us extra stat points. So you can see here, this is a tier 1 necklace. It has 3 strength and 4 perception. So that is how you get past the bottleneck of, you don't want to waste two stat points just to go up 1. And then lastly, we have perception. Now, perception is the source of insight and awareness. Heightened awareness during battle. It increases the accuracy of attacks. CC effects, enhances your time boost abilities, and it increases your max damage and your min damage. So you can see basically pretty much every stat increases your either your maximum damage or your minimum damage, or both. So for perception, you get an extra 100 hit at 30. 40, you get a buff duration of 5%. At 50, you get a range increase of 7.5%. 60 gives us an extra 120 hit. And then 70 gives us an extra 60 hit and a CC chance of 100. So for PvE, perception is not that important. But on PvP, you really want to bump up your perception. No matter what build you are, you're going to want to be pumping hit. And the reason for that is because when you're against other players, most builds are going to be building high evasion. And the only way to counter high evasion is to basically increase your hit. So like I said, so just remember, in PvE, perception is not that important. Obviously, you put some points into it, but for PvE, your main bread and butter is going to be your dexterity, your wisdom, and your strength. Now, in PvP, your bread and butter will be perception, your dexterity, and your strength. You're going to need obviously wisdom for PvP, but you can sacrifice wisdom for PvP because you're going to need the extra hit. So yeah, that is basically it. There's not that much else to it. Just remember, like I said, do not go above when you get to 30 of a stat, and it will ask you to then put in 2 stat points to go up 1 point. Do not go above that. Move on. So go to Dex 30, then move on to Wisdom 30, and then put some points into Strength to get your defenses up and get your extra health. And then when you start to get items that give you stat points, then you're going to be able to surpass those bottlenecks, and you're not going to worry about wasting 2 stat points just to go up 1 attribute point. So yeah, I hope that's helped you guys and girls. I wanted to keep this as as easy to understand as possible, but still keep it informative. So if this has helped you as a new player, please leave me a comment down below. And like I said, have a beautiful day. I hope you've enjoyed the game, what you've played so far. If you have any questions, I've got plenty more beginners guides coming out very, very soon. So subscribe to the channel, stay tuned. And like I said, feel free to ask me in the comment section, and also follow me over on Twitch because I'll be live streaming this beautiful game. So yeah, anyway, take care, and I'll see you very, very soon. Peace.